Hello again, friends. I am back with part 2 of my palette collection slash declutter, potential declutter. And in this part 2 video, I wanted to talk about a few of the palettes that didn't make it into part 1. So I decided to do Natasha Denona, Pat McGrath, and a couple of stragglers that didn't make it into the first one in this video. And so I'm going to start with the Natasha Denona palettes. The last video I did was almost 2.5 hours long, which I think I've never filmed anything quite that long for YouTube. And it was just so much fun to do that video with you guys and to see some of the feedback that I got from you guys on some of the palettes. So hopefully part 2 will be just as exciting for you, and we're going to go ahead and get into it. So we're going to start with these guys. So I'm gonna make space like I did before to kind of discuss each grouping of palettes for you guys. So I'm gonna move these over to the side, and we're gonna start with Natasha's mini palettes. And the first one I have here is the newest one. This is the mini Xenon palette. And as you can see, she is new to my collection. I do have her big sister, but I only have these 3 mini palettes. And this one, yeah, I can't really say much about it just yet. I haven't tried it yet, but I think this one will be really nice to travel with. Then I have the mini Love palette that I've had for a while, and I still really enjoy this one, and it's super cute, super pretty. I think this one's going to be really nice for upcoming Valentine's Day looks. And then last but not least in my mini collection, this is the mini Metropolis palette. I've had this one for a while as well, and I don't know if this one is still available, but I love this gold and teal shade in here, and you have everything that you need to make a very pretty look with this palette. So these 3 are staying. I really enjoy them. And then next I'm going to get into my bigger palettes with Natasha Denona, because I think of all the palettes that I have in that brand, the midis are probably the most prolific in my collection. Yeah, I have more midis than anything else. So here we go. I'm going to start with Metropolis, and you can see my reflection a little bit, but look at that. That's beautiful. I love this palette. She's not going anywhere. It's just a stunning palette. I think when this came out at the time, I thought this was one of the most interesting palettes that Natasha had come out with. The pops of blue and the teal and the greens in here are just absolutely gorgeous. So we are holding on to her. And then we have the gold palette. So yeah, the gold palette is a favorite. I've had this one for a while. It's so stunning, and it just creates some really beautiful looks. So this one's definitely staying in my collection, and I keep saying this with every palette, but this is part of why this is so fun, because you go through your collection and you're like, I want to use that, I want to use that, I want to use that. So I think this whole exercise has prompted me to kind of do like a weekly makeup basket where I commit to using some palettes that I haven't really dipped into more regularly. But yeah, this is another beautiful one. And then we have the Sunset palette, and it's beautiful. This is warm tone though, and so I think right now the trend is for people to do like the cool tone looks, which there's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, I haven't reached for this one in a while, and I don't know if this is gonna stay or not. I mean, it's such a beautiful palette. You can tell like I haven't really gotten much use out of it. So this is a maybe for me, but it's still a beautiful palette, but it's just a little warm leaning for what I like to wear at the current time. Then we have the Lila palette, and as I mentioned in my last video, you guys know like I'm a big purples girl, so this is really pretty. But I have to say, since I've had this palette, Natasha Denona has come up with some things that I think are, in my opinion, better formulas, or at least I prefer to wear them. And so there's nothing wrong with this one at all. There's something about like some of the tones in here. I don't know how to describe it, but yeah, it's still a really pretty palette. And I'm going to hold on to it because, again, there's some purple shades I'm looking at that might need to make it onto my eyes. Okay, next we have Circo Loco, which is one of the bigger palettes. And this one is just so fun and so colorful, and I cannot let this one go. We have pops of jewel tones and pastels mixed together, and it's just a really fun palette. I think when this one came out, I was really excited to see her putting something very colorful like this out with this fun mixture of colors. So I just think it's a really cool color story. I know this one's not for everyone, but I personally really enjoy this palette. And then we have the Trichrome palette, and it's not my favorite, but I have been able to pull some pretty looks together with this one. And yeah, I will say of all the Natasha Denona palettes, this one is, I hate to say my least favorite, but it just is. The duochromes are pretty, but they are not nearly what you can find in some of these indie brands. Like I know when some of the mainstream quote unquote brands say that they're putting out duochromes, I approach with a bit of skepticism because these are all mattes on either side of this duochrome row, and they're beautiful colors, and I think they're really complementary. But yeah, the duochromes aren't really duochroming the same way that you will see in indie brands. But I'm gonna hold on to this one because I have gotten some cute looks with it. And then we have Biba. She is the queen of basic palettes. She's phenomenal. This palette is so beautiful, and if you want like a very sophisticated look, like this is such a great palette to have. Basic neutrals, you cannot go wrong with it. I believe this one is still available. I need to double check on that, but it's just a really great palette, and I think this is one of my favorite palettes from the brand. Then we have Safari, another stunning palette. This one is all mattes, and we have just some stunning shades in here. I've like dipped in here as a companion palette to other palettes that I want to use, because I can do an all matte look and feel satisfied, but the shimmer goblin in me can't resist putting something shiny on my lids when I do wear eye makeup. So this one has been mostly a companion palette, but these mattes are really beautiful, and so this one is definitely going to stay. Okay, so getting into the midi palettes in my collection. Okay, these aren't in perfect order, but I do believe the Sunrise palette was one of the first palettes to be in the midi format in the Natasha Denona lineup. And I know I've been kind of brutal with some of the warmer tone palettes, but this is really, really pretty. And if I had to choose between this and the Sunset palette, like I prefer this one because I feel like this one, for me at least, has more interest in terms of the shades in this palette. And I know it's warmer leaning, but I feel like it's a little bit more balanced. And that's just my opinion. And I welcome anyone who, you know, maybe feels differently about that. But I don't know, for whatever reason, I just like this one a little bit more than Sunset. I think it's a really pretty palette, and I like this format. I like this size. Then we have the Glam palette going in a whole other direction. Very cool toned. This is a beautiful palette. Like this one will never leave my collection. I just really like it. It's truly, I would say even more than cool, it's just very neutral. It's purely neutral, and it's a really, really great palette to pull out for day-to-day looks, glam looks, whatever you need. It's really versatile for what it is. Then we have the Bronze palette, and if I'm gonna do warm tones, like this is the kind of warm tone that I like. She has been used and abused. You can see she's been places. She has been places. I took this palette on a vacation to Aruba, and I loved it. It was such a hit. My girlfriends were like, can you put some of these shimmers on my eyelids? And we were just playing and having fun with this palette. So this one is so beautiful, versatile, and it has sentimentality attached to it. So I'm going to hold on to this one. Then we have the Love palette. Again, you can see that it complements the mini very well. Okay, so this is the Big Sister Love palette, and we've got the pinks, the purples. I remember being so excited when this one came out. I got it. First impression of it, I wasn't sure how I felt like actually wearing it, but then it really grew on me, and I really like this one, and I am going to commit to pulling this out this February for something really cute and pink. I like it. And then we have the Retro palette. This is so beautiful. This, I really like the berry rosy tones in this one. This is another one that's great for like a Valentine's-y type look, or if you're going for like a romantic look. I really like the shades in here, so this one's definitely staying. Then we have the Pastel palette, and it is beautiful, but I will say I think that I've experienced better pastel formulas in the Menagerie palette. The name is escaping me, but Menagerie Cosmetics has a fantastic pastel palette. Glamlight has a really great one, the Ice Cream Dream palette, that I think I did a comparison, and some of the shades were similar. Lost in Los Angeles from BH Cosmetics. So there's a lot of other pastel palettes that I think outperform this one. It's not bad, but it's not as bold. And if you like pastels but you want to do a more sheared out look, this one is really nice for doing looks like that. So next we have Zendo, and Zendo didn't get a lot of love, I feel like, in the beauty community. This one was kind of panned. I still haven't been able to let this one go because I really think the concept is there. I like the idea of combining the warm with the cool / neutral tones. So somewhere in my delusional mindset, I've convinced myself that I will make this work one day. I don't know. So for now, this is staying, but we will see what happens in the future. Okay, so these palettes are grouped together because they're newer releases, and I'm actually going to start with the Natasha Denona My Dream palette. And this one just is absolutely stunning. I always get really beautiful looks with this one. I really enjoy it. It kind of reminds me of Retro. They're not exactly the same, but as you can see, there's a vibe. I think, you know, Retro is has a little bit more light to it, and then you could see that My Dream is a little bit deeper. Not a little bit, actually, it's quite deeper, but I feel like they are like companions to each other, if that makes sense. So yeah, they're both really, really beautiful palettes, but I have to say between Retro and My Dream, like this one edges out Retro for me. I think My Dream is really, really kind of my cup of tea. And then we have the I Need a Nude palette. We all went nuts over this one. Very similar to the Makeup by Mario palette. The what is the name of that one? The Mario. I just call that the Mario palette. But this is along similar lines. Very neutral, natural, glam, and it's just such a great everyday palette. This is one that I reach for pretty often. I think it's a beautiful palette, so not going anywhere. Then we have Xenon, and she caused quite a stir. I felt like people either loved this palette or they couldn't stand it because it's very monochromatic. It's very much on par with the ColourPop Blow and Smoke palette, which has, you know, the black and the white and the gray, just grayscale. But for me, again, I like cool tones, and I really like the looks that I have done with this palette so far. I wore this palette to a basketball game, and I love how it came out. And this palette with a neutral lip, it's really, really stunning. And, you know, I think if you have like a cool or neutral skin tone, these tones really do work. These tones really do work. And for me as a medium person, I personally really do like this palette a lot. So we have Retro Glam here. She kind of snuck in. It's so pretty. Just, when I see this palette, I think, you know, it's very dainty. She's very dainty. She's got the pinks and the greens, the mints, and a little bit of depth to ground the look if you need to do that. This one's definitely going to be making, you know, more rounds in the springtime. And then we have Yucca. Last but not least, we have the Yucca palette. And for whatever reason, I resisted getting this one. And I'm so glad that I eventually caved and got it, because I did this look with this palette and I used the shade Camu Camu. And what else did I use? I used Acacia and Calathera, and then one of the shimmer shades in here. Oh, Micaiah. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Beautiful. Beautiful look. I was like, I finally get the hype, because sometimes you get a hype product and you're just disappointed and you're like, I wish that I had been just like, had a stronger mindset and resisted it. But I'm glad I finally caved and got this palette. Plus I had some gift cards from my birthday that I was able to apply to this purchase. So that's even better. But I think that had that not been the case, I still would have been happy to have purchased this and have it in my collection. It's a gorgeous palette. Okay, last but not least, I have this face palette from Natasha Denona, the Glam Face Palette. This is in the dark. This one's gonna go for sure. I know I'm pretty stingy when it comes to letting go like my higher end eyeshadow palettes. I've tried to make this work. I think it was actually too deep for me, surprisingly. I felt like I should be able to make this work. The blush was fine, but it's these eyeshadows. Like, they're way too dark on my eyelids. And so I felt like it was like closing my eyes off for some reason. And I know that sounds strange coming from a person who just said she likes the Xenon palette. But hear me out. The shimmers, I was expecting them to show up more bright, right? So if I'm going to put these deep shades on my eyes, like the deep mattes, then I want the shimmer to have some contrast to brighten the eye back up and give it some dimension. And for me, the shadows in here fell flat. Maybe I would have had better luck with the light palette, but I've kind of stepped away from the face palettes just because they've had mixed reviews. There's probably nothing wrong with them. I'm sure she'll probably put something out that I eventually do really like. But judging this as an eyeshadow palette and not necessarily the blushes, like, these shades did not particularly work for me, which I think is too bad, because this is like a nice one to actually travel with. But I just didn't have a bright enough, I don't even want to say light, but a bright enough shimmer shade in here to make this particular palette work for me. So for that reason, I am letting it go, which makes me kind of sad, but it's okay. I have plenty of other beautiful items in my collection to draw from. Okay, friends, so I'm going to start with my Pat McGrath collection now. And a couple of things. This is not it. I'm going to start with the quads. I have some other items in the Pat McGrath category. And so I'm going to start with these quads here. I just want to say very quickly, Pat McGrath has the girls gagged right now. I think that for a while, people have been saying that her brand has been kind of meh, you know, and I can see that because some of the more recent releases, personally, I have skipped as well because I just didn't see anything that drew my attention. But I think with the recent show, the Maison Margiela show, she really reminded us that she is mother when it comes to makeup and to, you know, her artistry. So that cannot be denied. As far as the direction of the brand in 2024, I'm definitely interested to see what she has. But I have been just a Pat McGrath stan. I'm going to be very open about my bias towards her and just, you know, how fabulous that I think that she is. So I'm hoping to see if there's some other things that she will put out that I want to add to my collection. But anyway, I could keep talking. I'm going to go ahead and start with the quads in no particular order. No particular order, guys, because like I don't even know. Like I don't see like the label on the back. But we have, let's see. I don't even know. Does it have the name on here? let's see. I'm gonna have to see, but here we have this pink quad, which came out in one of her holiday collections. I'm gonna see if I can actually find, oops, hold on. Okay, I had to do a little internet sleuthing to remind myself the name of this one, but this is the Blitz Astral Quad in Ritualistic Rose, and this was one of the first quads that Pat McGrath did that I remember from the brand during like a holiday collection with the special shades in it, and it's such a beautiful palette. And yes, I've had it for a while, but I'm not letting these go. And so this is, again, Ritualistic Rose. Then we have the quad in, let's see, Iconic Illumination. This is just so stunning. We have this like gorgeous gold Blitz Astral shade here and this like, you know, kind of bronzy color. I wore this one to a couple of special events, and I always get compliments. It's just a very sophisticated quad, and I would love to see more quads like this come out in future collections. And then last but not least, from that particular holiday collection, we have Nocturnal Nirvana. This one is so cool. I recommend wearing, especially this aqua shade here with a like dark base. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. So I love these quads. I'm gonna keep them. And then I have some of her other quads as well. Yeah, here we have Voyeuristic Vixen, and you can see in the mirror here like the shift of this particular shade. It looks like pink and gold. It's so beautiful. And so yeah, this is a really pretty one. You can get some really lovely looks out of it. Oops. Then I have Risque Rose, which has this fun pink shade in here, and I think this more bold pink was one of the more colorful palettes that she had at the time that was in a mothership. So I thought this quad was really, really pretty. And I think pink and brown look really nice together. Plus you have some very pretty shimmer shades. I have dug into this one. I do like the looks that I get with this. Then we have this one here. This is Fleur Fantasia. It's a little bit more delicate, more light. So depending on what kind of look you're going for, this isn't the most bold palette, but it's very pretty. It's very soft. I think this is a perfect palette for the springtime. Then we have Eternal Eden, which looks like one of the, like a smaller compact version of Divine Rose, which we'll get into. But yeah, we have like a soft pink, kind of mid-tone pink here, not as bold. And yeah, again, just like very romantic, soft looks. We know Mother Pat loves her pinks. And then last among my quads, we have, this is Interstellar Icon. This is probably my all-time favorite quad outside of the ones from the Celestial Nirvana holiday collection. This is just really stunning. This blue is everything. I like to wear it as like a liner on the lower lash line. Like, so I'll do like a black pencil liner and smudge it out and then put this on with a pencil brush. It is absolutely stunning. I always have people asking me what's on my eyes when I wear this one. So this is definitely a favorite for me. I love this palette. Okay, for some of you, this is a walk down memory lane because these are some older palettes from earlier in the Pat McGrath brand history, I will say. This is the Subversive, iEcstasy Subversive eyeshadow palette. These were these very cute little 5-pan palettes. So she has these, oh my gosh, let's see if I can open it. Yeah, what Pat has been doing now with these smaller palettes is that she's got them in like that kind of square 6-pan format. And I think these were like the predecessor. They're in this very kind of cheapy pencil case plastic packaging, and there's nothing wrong with that. You've got like the cute logo on here. These are actually really, really cute. I've had these a while, but they're still really vibrant and impactful. And I think that if she did like incarnated these in like the 6-pan format with maybe like another like fun matte or something like that, that would be like fantastic. Because like this gold, the red, the blue, this is really, really stunning. And again, this one is called Subversive, but in this like mini format. And then we have the, oh my gosh, these are so hard to open. We have the Sublime in this 5-pan format. And I remember when these came out, they were retailing for about $29, and then eventually they went on sale for like $14. Like, these were a steal. I mean, for anyone wanting to try out Pat McGrath, and it just kind of really reminds us, if you stick around her website, like, she's going to give you a really good sale at some point. But yeah, these are really, really pretty. I can't say that I've worn them a long time, but I've had a hard time letting them go just because they're just really cute, and they just remind me of the brand at an earlier time. Then we have the, let's see, what is this one called? This is Rose Decadence, and this is in the cardboard packaging in pink, Pat's Pinks. Really, really cute. I've had this one for I don't know how long. I don't know if it's gonna survive another declutter, but if I had to let one go, this is on its last legs. I have not really used this one, and because I have Divine Rose 1 and 2, I don't know that I need it. Plus the other quads that have a lot of pink. There's a lot of pink tones in the Pat McGrath lineup, so I don't know that I really need this one, but I do like the flowers on here. They're really, really cute. And then one I do think I'm gonna let go is this Golden Opulence palette. It's beautiful, but this packaging, guys, is like so clapped out. Like, it is, let me turn it this way so you don't get like this here. It just kind of came apart at the seams, and I think this is where, when she's doing some of these cardboard packagings, like, it's just not going to have the longevity as some of her more substantial packaging. So this one's kind of falling apart, which is like too bad, because this gold is really pretty, but she has given us these tones before. And yeah, this one, I'm worried about it, like, just literally falling apart and trying to like piece it together. It was really beautiful when it came out. Like, if you can imagine it not being dusty, and it's not really showing up too poorly on camera, because it's actually really pretty, but it's just, yeah, it's really hard to keep this one clean. Like, I can't, like, because it's like that scratchy, it's smooth, but you know what I mean, it's textured, so it's hard to keep this one clean. So I'm gonna probably let this one go out of my collection. Okay, next we have, let's talk about, let's see, let's talk about a little bit of Bridgerton. These Bridgerton palettes, I went gaga for them. I love that series, and when this came out, I was so excited. So we have the first Bridgerton palette. This is Diamond of the First Water, and the design of the packaging, personally, I like it. I know there were people who felt like it was too ostentatious in terms of the print, not actually the unit itself, but I actually really like the girly stuff. I like the purple flowers and the bows and pearls and things like that. So here's the inside of the palette. And then we have the second one that she released. And so these, they're not really so different from each other. And I think that that was something that people wished was a little bit different with this Bridgerton collection. But I do really like this kind of chartreuse metallic shade in here. That's really cool. But I think I think where things went kind of, when people got a little critical, was like how we have these like pink, again, pinky maroony shades in here that are very similar. So yeah, they, other than the little pops here, like, honestly, if you were to consolidate these palettes, it's really just like 3 colors that are actually different out of the total number of shades. What I kind of hope happens is that with the 3rd season, I think they were focusing on the Featherington sisters. I can't remember. I think it's Penelope's story. I would love to see like a yellow, because I know they were always wearing like yellow and really bright colors. So we'll see. I don't know if they still have that licensing agreement. It's been a little bit of time since I've heard anything about like the Bridgerton series coming out with a new season. So it'll be interesting if they're still collaborating with each other, but they're both really cute palettes. I'm going to get into some, I'm going to skip to some Pat holiday palettes. We have the Celestial Divinity palette, which I think recently got used in the Maison Margiela show. I have to look and see what shades she used, but this was a revelation when it came out because we got like color, we got different finishes. This does not have like the special shades in it, but I still really like Pat's shimmer formula, and I do enjoy her mattes, and I kind of wish that she had stuck with this format of holiday palette because one, it's still pricey, but it was a great way for people to try like a variety of her shades and feel like you're getting some bang for your buck. And it's a really beautiful palette. Like I really love the colors. I think of all the holiday collections of the bigger palettes, this is at the top for me. And then the following year she came out with the, what is this one called? I'm sorry, I'm like referencing. This is, okay, this is Celestial Divinity. This is Celestial Nirvana. Maybe that's the one she said she used. I can't remember. Also stunning. Really stunning. People were very excited about this one. I think this was the last one before she came out with that face palette combo. And we have this pop of purple, this blue, the green. People were really excited about this one. I still really like this palette. I've been able to create some really beautiful looks with this one. And again, something along these lines is what I really like. Because then we have, this is Celestial Odyssey. I kind of went out of order, so I do apologize. And I have two. Reason being, this one, which I can probably let go, got damaged on its way here. So this green shade just took a hit. It kind of spread throughout the palette. I never let it go. I kind of have kept this as a backup, but I don't think I necessarily need to do that because as you can see, I don't really dip into this as much. This one, I think, yeah, you still get the same number of shades. I didn't really understand the logo in the center of the palette. It was something different. It's not too visually jarring. I personally can't stand palettes where they have like, you know, very like odd shapes and placements. I really like symmetry. So this didn't disturb my sensibilities too much. So I can't really complain. I think it was just a question of could there have been extra shadows put in if we didn't have that logo in the middle. But this one is also really beautiful. But I know that this one had a lot of issues with the shipping. I was not the only person that had that issue with the shipping with this one because it's just like more delicate formulas, I guess, or maybe the way they pressed it. But still a really beautiful palette. Okay, last but not least, we have, in terms of Pat McGrath palettes, we're going to talk about quints. I'm going to start with these Star Wars quints. I picked up, I feel like I have a third one. Oh, here she is. She's hiding. So we have the Star Wars quints, and this release, personally, I enjoyed it, but I know there were a lot of feelings because of the packaging, particularly where the Mothership palette was concerned. There was a sticker on there, not really like a printed or like embossed packaging. And so that caused people to have some feelings, but I just opted not to buy that because I already had that Mothership, and I'm trying to remember which one that is. It's Midnight Sun. Okay, so Midnight Sun was included in the Star Wars collection. It had been on sale for like weeks for like $77, which was a steal. It's a fantastic palette. I love that one. But they had just put, when the Star Wars collection came out, they put a sticker on Midnight Sun. It was the exact same palette, but just with like a sticker on it at the full price. And so that caused there to be feelings, and I'm sure lessons were learned. So we will see what happens in the future. But long story short, with that collection, I only ended up purchasing the quints and some of the like pot shadows. And so here we have this is Divine Droid, with R2-D2 on it. And if you saw my first video, I did go through my ColourPop collection, and I have the Star Wars ColourPop palette, which I adore. I think the artwork on that is fabulous. Like, ColourPop did a fantastic job on that palette. And so we have Divine Droid here. It's really cute. We've got like the purpley shade, greens, shades that aren't exactly the same, but we've seen something similar in her like bigger holiday palettes. And I will say, like, the packaging itself, again, you know, the cardboard packaging can be hit or miss. Like, however they wrapped it, you can kind of see like it's a little wrinkled, right? So those are the kinds of things I think with like a luxury brand, people are like, what's going on? Like, why? But as far as the quality of the shadows, that is there. And I really like these shadows. So I am definitely going to keep my quints. Moving on to the next one, which is Sith Seduction. Beautiful. Okay, we have this like kind of smoky, deep navy shade here. We've got like this deep forest green, coppery colors. This is actually a really beautiful one. So this is like a deeper palette. It's very pretty, more on the neutral side, but I think really nice to pull in as a companion palette for something matte that you might want to wear. And then finally, last but not least, we have the golden one, which is like the most soft of these three palettes, because you've got colorful, you've got deep, dark, and then you've got like this kind of more neutral palette with this kind of shifty golden tones in here and a couple of mattes. So those are the Star Wars ones. Then I have the quints from an earlier holiday collection. These, let's see, this is Bronze Bliss. Obsessed, guys, obsessed. Of the quints, I have to say, this is one of my favorites, and I'm gonna be really sad when this shade is gone. I use this for special occasions. I wore this shade on my 40th birthday. Actually, this whole palette is what I wore for my 40th birthday. My husband threw me a surprise party. I had no idea. He was just like, make sure your makeup's nice. This is what I wore. I'm so glad I did, because I loved how my makeup looked in the photos, and I'm just really grateful that it looked good. But yeah, I love this palette. Very travel friendly. If I know we're going to do a special occasion, I love it. This is one that I definitely recommend. Of my Pat McGrath quints and holiday palettes, this is probably my favorite. And then we have Nude Allure. Again, another kind of like soft pinky nudie palette, very pretty, but just along the same lines as a lot of other things that have been released, but it's still pretty nonetheless. And then finally, for my quints, these are from the latest holiday collection. I have Sunset Romance, another pinky nudie one, and I'm looking at it actually right now, and I'm thinking, okay, ignore my palette collapse over here. I'm just trying to somewhat stay organized, but similar, right? Like, these aren't like super duper different from each other. They're both really pretty, but this is, I think, what we're seeing is like, you know, kind of very similar releases coming out, you know, season after season, year after year. Not a problem if you're new to the brand. And I think, you know, we also have to keep in mind that, you know, if you're not a makeup enthusiast, like, these shades aren't necessarily boring to people. Like, these are really practical colors. There are people always discovering these brands, new makeup consumers, and brands have to keep those people in mind as well and attract new people that want neutral tones or softer shades or like everyday wearable shades. So these make sense because they're really giftable. When I see a collection that I'm like, I'm not excited about, I have to remind myself it's not necessarily for me. It's not for me. It's for someone else that might be excited to have something wearable like this in their collection and isn't necessarily looking for something novel. So yeah, I'm so glad to have this one. And again, the tones are different enough where you could just see that nuance and that difference in the shades. But yeah, it's still a pretty palette. And then last but not least, we have Lunar Nightshade, which I thought was the most exciting quint from the latest holiday release Pat McGrath put out. We have some shades that we hadn't quite seen before. So you have this, what is this called? Neptunian Orchid. And I think Noir Nebula. This was the shade that was like, yes, I want to try this. They're really, really pretty shades. But yeah, those are the quints. Okay, I'm trying to stay out of frame, guys, because it's rough in these streets. Okay, it's rough out here. But these are the motherships, and we're just gonna go through my mothership collection, and I'm gonna try my best to go in the order in which the palettes were released, 1 through 11 now. So this is Mothership 1 Subliminal, and this one is just a really beautiful, cool tone Dream. You've got this like gorgeous blue shade in here, and you know, you've got like your special shades in here that have made the Motherships just the kind of flagship product of the brand. And I don't believe this was my first Mothership. I got this one at some point down the road, but when I want a blue or a black, this is such a great palette to get into. Yeah, and I like the cool tones. I really have used it for these like special shades mostly. I don't have anything against the Pat McGrath matte formula at all. They work really, really well, of course, but it's just like the Blitz Astral, sorry, I can't talk. It's just that these special shades, they just do it for me, and every time I have these colors on, I get compliments. But yeah, this is a really beautiful, cool tone palette. So we have Mothership 2 Sublime. Sublime is Sublime. Again, we've got these like stunning special shades in here, and another black. She puts a lot of black in these palettes, so you can just use it standalone. And I have tried in many ways to make myself use like the deeper shades in my palettes more, either as liners or like to fill in brows, that kind of thing. It doesn't get as much use, but it's still nonetheless a really stunning palette, and you can get some really like beautiful neutral looks out of this palette as well. But like, of course, I don't know about you, but when I see this palette, I look at that green and then that gold shade, and then you can see in the mirror the flip on this shade right here. Really, really beautiful. I mean, it just gives you so much dimension, and this is what people love about Pat McGrath's brand, and I would love to see her come out with some other really cool special shades. Then we have Subversive. So this is Mothership 3 Subversive, and this is a stunning one. It's got this gorgeous purple shade in here, another black matte. We will never be short of that. So that's the only thing, if you do collect the Pat McGrath palettes, you're going to have a lot of similar kind of matte shades, but it just depends personally like what your preference is, because again, for me, these special shades, I really do dig into them. I think I had a little bit of hesitancy to dig into my Pat McGrath palettes for a while, because I'm like, oh, it's so special, and I'm really trying to shed that, because these are just magic on the eyes. And so I really do like this one. It's kind of, it's cool. It's like a little edgy. I would say of the palettes that she's come out with her Motherships, like this is to me like the edgy one, and I would love to see her kind of go in that direction with her color stories with these, and you know, maybe even switch it up with the mattes a little bit, but this one's really, really pretty. Then we have Decadence Mothership 4. I got it with the Star Wars packaging, the reflective Star Wars packaging. Sorry that it's kind of like hard to show you guys without like reflecting in the camera. This one does not have any special shades in it. These are all shimmers. This is an all shimmer palette, but you can still get some incredibly gorgeous looks with it. And I love the gold and the silver in here. I was so close to getting that new Urban Decay palette. Was it like the metal something palette? And then I remembered I have this. I don't need that. I don't need that. And I'm trying not to do too much swatching in the video, but yeah, I don't know if you can still get Decadence, but I know that I have like the amount of gold and silver eyeshadow that I need in my collection. But these are really pretty. So it's not the special shades, but look at that pigment. These are really, really beautiful. So here we have Mothership 5 Bronze Seduction. I feel like this is the palette that so many people like lost their minds over when it first came out. I know this was probably I think this was my first Pat McGrath purchase. This was the first one that I got, and for good reason. Again, special shades, a little bit more variety with the mattes, because instead of like a dark black shade, and that's just my puppy coming in, instead of a dark black shade, we have like this kind of like burnt maroonish purple, deep purple shade in here to deepen up looks. But this is really, really beautiful. I get a lot of compliments on this one, and yeah, I really love this palette. The hype was justified. Then we have number 6, Midnight Sun. And I really love this palette. I have gotten some really beautiful looks with this one. This is not black, but it's like a very deep brown. So it's almost black. It's almost black, but not quite. But I think this one just gives you a lot of options for really beautiful neutral looks. It's a stunning palette. I love to pull this one out during the fall season. And I've been really happy with the looks that I've gotten with this one. And then we have the Divine Rose one, the first one, very neutral, very basic, very everyday. I think this was the first mothership in that Divine Rose series. And we kind of have been going in that direction, or at least I've noticed the brand has been going in that direction ever since, with like the kind of more rosy tones. I felt like we've seen a lot of iterations of this kind of genre of palette in the brand, but again, you know, that's something that maybe some people really enjoy. I think this is a great, really pretty everyday palette. And let's see, I don't know why it kind of fogged up on the mirror here, because usually I'm able to use the mirror to show like there's a little bit of shiftiness in this shade. But yeah, it's a really pretty one, and this one came in the special edition like pink packaging. It came in this really pretty pink packaging, and I was such a psycho at the time, guys, that I actually sold my initial Divine Rose in the plain black packaging so I could get like the pretty pink packaging. So please don't judge me on that, but like look at this. This is really stunning. I would love to see more of her palettes come out in like really fun packaging and colors like that, like you know, the substantial packaging. And then we have Divine Rose 2. And this one is just wow. Okay, so it's pink, but it's like it's pink. Okay, really, really pretty, gorgeous, special shades in here. I would say between 1 and 2, this is my favorite. This is the one that I dig into a little bit more. You know, you've got like this kind of more subdued corner over here, but the rest of the girls, they're ready to party. They're ready to have a good time. Such a beautiful palette. Again, comes in special edition packaging, and sorry, it's covered in fingerprints, but I definitely use that one a lot. Then we have Utopian Dream, which is another favorite of mine. Just this shade alone, I lost my mind with this one. Yes, is this side kind of like simple and basic? It looks like the other 6-pan palette that I am letting go, the rose one. But this still, these colors just work for me. I love to use this matte, this kind of peachy matte here in the crease and just go to town. This kind of taupey shade I feel like we see a lot, but it's still, you know, a beautiful palette, and ended up being one that I really enjoy. Then, okay, I think this is like my next favorite of the motherships. Like, it's kind of basic. I think I got panned for being, you know, not super exciting, but it's actually stunning. And again, I gotta stop myself. See, Pat's got me swatching when I didn't want to swatch, but like, look at that. That's like liquid on the eyes, this shade. It's so beautiful, and I don't know what kind of like fairy dust she like sprinkled in here, but this is one of my favorite motherships. I dig into this shade all the time, and the mattes in here work well with these special shades. I understand the rationale, you know, because I know people say, oh, she has these shades in here a lot. But if you're using this palette by itself, particularly if you're my skin tone or deeper, like I find that she does mattes that favor, you know, medium to deep skin. So I actually don't mind the darker shades. It works out for me. So I'm able to pull together a full look with this palette. Okay, last but not least for Pat, motherships and just palettes in general, I have like, here's, she's fresh. She's fresh. This is number 11, Sunlit Seduction. And she's very pretty. She kind of reminds me, this quad here kind of reminds me of one of the quads, the holiday quads that I showed you guys a little bit earlier. And I do apologize because I'm telling you the names as I'm saying the palettes, and then when I want to reference it later, like I'm not remembering what I talked about. But thank you for still sticking with me through this process because I feel like you guys understand. But yeah, this one is very neutral. It's very like basic, but it's still really pretty. I did wait for a sale for this one. I just didn't really feel like I needed to pay full price for this one. I've learned the hard way that if you wait long enough with Pat McGrath, you can find her products on sale, and it's absolutely worth the sale price. So this is one that I talked about in 10 palettes I got in 2023 that I want to use in 2024, and I still haven't pulled it out. So this is going to go into an everyday makeup drawer so I can use this one because the shades are really pretty, and I think I'm going to get some really stunning looks with it because I know what people say about all the pink and everything, but it just really looks good. She does a really great job creating flattering shades for a variety of skin tones, and I think this one is no exception. So I think it'll be really pretty for soft looks. Okay, so we're gonna get into the Viseart portion of my collection and have quite a few palettes from Viseart. Some of them are PR, some of them are purchased. I will try my best to remember which is which. So please know that I have like the best of intentions of just being really clear with you guys when it comes to what palettes are gifted and what I've purchased myself. But since I've grown quite a collection, there's a good mix of both things. And yeah, so I've been really grateful to have cultivated a good relationship with the Viseart team, and I've done some content with my Viseart palettes that you can find on my Instagram and in short form content. And I actually did a video dedicated to these Petits palettes. So if you guys were interested in that, I'll try to link that below. But let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start with the first Petits release that I can recall the brand did, which was with these kind of, what was it? Like 20s inspired palettes. So let me move these guys out of the way so we can like really focus. These came out, I want to say holiday 2020 or 2021. They've been around for a little bit now, and I think they're still available. And when they introduced this format, I was really excited because I think that these are particularly nice for travel and keeping things really simple. And so we have the Petit Four Lapis, or Lapis if you don't want to pronounce the S at the end, and it's got this beautiful gold, silver, deep blue, and a mid-tone kind of matte shade in here that's perfect for very easy looks. Then we have Bouillon, which I really like. This is so pretty for like smoky eye looks. We've got some really gorgeous gold shades. And the one thing I will say about the Viseart formula is that the shimmers are more delicate. So if you're looking for like a really like impactful shimmer, you can find it, but it's not going to be as maybe bold as some other brands. But I like that because their formula is incredibly forgiving on mature eyelids. Then we have Peridot, which is this gorgeous green quad. And this is one of my favorites. The green in here is really, really pretty. And then we have Garnet, which I love this one for holidays. And yeah, it's really pretty. So that's that group of quads. And then we have quads that came out. These came out, I think, the following spring. But we have Pesh. So cute. Pesh is super cute. Really easy, beautiful for soft looks, and I would say if you have like light to medium skin, this is a really great quad. Then we have Lavande, I love this one. This is gorgeous. Look at this purple in here. Really, really beautiful. And then you've got kind of a soft, very soft, shimmery silver shade. Really enjoy that. Then we have Pistache. I think out of those, this usually I'm a purple girl, but this is one of my favorite green palettes that I have in my collection. It's just so foolproof, so pretty. This shade just looks so pretty on the lid. And then finally we have Pastille, which has this really fun bright pop of blue, neutral, and then a bronzy shade here. Really, really cute. And yeah, so let's get into the next grouping. We have, let's see, we have Amelie, which is very neutral. This is kind of like a really pretty, this one's like a rose gold shade that's like really, really nice. Really like that one. Framboise pink. Oh my gosh, so pretty in pink. Just a soft pink. Like if you like pink shades but don't want to do like bubblegum pink, this is really pretty. Very sophisticated pink. Then we have Lilas. Cool tones. Really, really beautiful. And you know, these are $25 full price, and I'm gonna say that these compete with some of the more like expensive luxury brands that do similar color stories, but you get it at a great price and a wonderful formula. Then we have Chocolat. This is really pretty. It's a very rich brown color story with this matte right here and some of these warmer toned shimmers, but it does evoke feelings of chocolate, and it's just a really pretty palette. Then we have Praline, and this is my most used Petit Four palette. I've taken this palette literally all over the world with me. You can see she's gotten a lot of use. She's been used and abused. I'll show you guys the kind of I'll show you guys the next one that came, the Épicé, which is along these lines, but I love this one. Then we have Lila de, which is another cool tone palette. Got a little bit of hint of purple in here. Very nice for easy looks. And we have Violetta. This is really stunning, like this duochrome shade in here over this matte deep burgundy color. This is a magic combination right here. And this one, when it came out, I remember it sold out pretty quickly and for good reason. Then we have some more Petit Fours that came out in a subsequent spring collection. This is Rosea Lotus, which kind of reminds me of Framboise, but like even more subdued. Water Lotus, really pretty. ColourPop has the High Tide palette, and I have been meaning to like compare the two because these shades remind me a lot of that palette, but more curated and edited down. But just like a stunning color story for spring and summer. And then Sakura Lotus, which is just really pretty. You kind of have like this soft magenta color in here and a mid-tone transition shade. And this color right here is kind of like a very gentle duochrome. And I say gentle because you're not going to get the same impact that you're going to see with like Pat McGrath shadow or Natasha Denona or like even some of the indie brands, but it's really, really soft. And that's not necessarily a bad thing because you might want that finish, but you might also want it to not cling to every single wrinkle in your eyelids. And then finally we have like these two Petit Four. These are the newest ones. These came out in the latest winter collection. We have Petit Four Praline Épicé. I have a feeling this one's going to be a favorite for me. And then we have Petit Four Antirian, which is this deep smoky purple matte, along with these other really stunning shades. A slight duochrome in this shade Ren, which is really pretty. But I think this is one of the really interesting quads that they came out with this past year. So I'm interested to see what they do for the spring collection. Okay, so next I have the Petit Pro series palettes that I have in my collection. This is Petit Pro 5 Soleil, and that makes sense. If you're familiar with French, you know Soleil means sun. And this is very summery. This is very, very summery. Again, we have another stunning purple. I don't use this one nearly enough. It's absolutely stunning in person, but look at how bright that yellow is. That matte bright yellow. When I'm tempted to purchase palettes with bright mattes, I have to remind myself I have this. Like, look at that. So pretty. And this is kind of reminding me of the palette that Angelica Nyqvist came out with, Odin's Eye. One of the things that caught my eye about that palette, her Halloween collection with them, and I can't remember which of the two palettes it was in, was there was like a really pretty purple and yellow combo. And knowing that I have this, I'm really glad that I just curbed my add to cart instinct on that. Even though it's a beautiful palette, I know I have these shades. Then we have, I don't even remember what this one is called. What is this? Oh, Shoo Shoo. So cute. I have loved this kind of neon peach shade and this bright pink. And again, we have a duochrome, but it's a soft duochrome and then a really gorgeous silver. Like, this is really, really pretty. And this is what I'm going to have to stop myself from doing, is like swatching these, because these shades are really stunning. And I think sometimes Viseart's a little bit underrated. People want what they want. But I think the beauty of this brand is that they do what is needed in the makeup community. Like, they do some really beautiful formulas. So if you're like a makeup artist, or someone in my case who's 40 plus, but you want to do fun colors, they have great formulas for that. Next, we have the Petit Pro series, but these are the Étoile palettes. We have Paris Étoile, which is really beautiful. We're going to ignore the fact that the mirror is cracked. I'm so sad because I don't think you can get this one anymore, but this is such a beautiful smoky palette, and you have this deep burnt purple shade that reminds me of Tyrian a little bit. But it's just a really gorgeous color story. And you have still these three lighter shades here to do the transition and to diffuse the shades. So this is such a pretty palette. I'm sad that there's damage to it, but I'm not going to stop using it. And then we have London Étoile, which again has another stunning purple in here, and the undertones and tones of the purples and the Viseart palettes are different. They do a lot of purple, but they're different, and that's my story. I'm sticking to it. But yeah, these shades are really beautiful as well. And then we have San Francisco Étoile, another beautiful palette that has this really gorgeous deep teal and this like coppery shade. I think they did a fantastic job curating the color stories in these and making them compact. So yeah, those are really, really pretty. I would like to see them do more cities, so hopefully they'll do that. Then we have these Fleurette palettes. So these are actually eyeshadow and face all in one, but I'm still going to include them because they do have more eyeshadow than anything. So there's like 4 eyeshadows and 2 face products in here. So this is Bisous, which is French for kisses. It's very soft. It's romantic. I love the peachy blush shades in here. But yeah, the palette itself, it's really nice. You have like a very kind of neutral story, little pop of color here. Very practical. It's just very practical. Then we have Fleurette Amour, which is more purpley leaning again. Like, you know, you've got this kind of soft lavender color, and it's just really nice if you like, you know, soft washes of color. And then finally we have Fleurette Cœur, which is the softest of those 3. I know that people felt that there could have been like, you know, more boldness, but I like this one still. But I think if you have a lighter skin tone, this is a really good one. I think that, which one is it? Bisous and Cœur. not Kia, Amore, sorry. These were the two that worked best for my kind of medium skin. I hope that they do this format with some more bold colors. It'll be really nice to see that. Okay, finally we have the Petits palettes. Sorry, not finally. We have Petits palettes here. This format is really cool because these are smaller versions of their like Slim Pro palettes, like the bigger versions. So if you are a mainstream consumer and not a makeup artist, or just someone who really, you know, you wanted something more compact, these are fantastic. So we're gonna go through these. We have Petits Matte Cool. So these cool mattes, which are really fantastic for grounding looks. So this is like a good like assistant palette that will get you through maybe some looks with other textures and finishes and things like that. So this is a really good staple palette to have. Then we have Sultry Muse, which is a shimmery palette. So pretty. We have another silver here, but it's like a different tone of silver. So it's like a little more deep and more gray than that bright blinding silver, but just really gorgeous, gorgeous shimmers. And you could pair this with one of the matte palettes or wear it alone if you like shimmery washes of color on the lid. It's a really, really pretty palette. Then we have Paris Nudes. So another shimmer palette, but different tones. And we have this shade here that's really pretty. It kind of has like a gold shift to it. So it looks white in the pan, but it's like got a golden shift. And what I like about Viseart shades is that many of the colors are multi-use. So this could be like a really pretty highlight shade. Then we have Editorial Brights. I was so tempted for so long to get the Slim Pro version of this. And then they came out with this size. And this is really perfect. Like if I were a more disciplined person, I could probably get rid of some of my bigger rainbow palettes with the neon shades in it. But because I am a makeup monster, it's hard for me to do that. But this is like fantastic. And I think this is like a really great one for like on the go if you are an MUA or if you were going to do like a festival look or something like that. You've got some really great shades in here and it's super easy to carry along. Then we have the Paris Edit, which is a combination of shimmers and mattes. And this one has come with me quite a few places. I don't think they make this anymore. I'm not 100% sure. Some palettes have come in and out of circulation, but it's beautiful and just, you know, a really great workhorse palette. Then we have the Spritz Edit, and I like this one, but it's not my favorite. I think this is probably my least favorite of the Viseart palettes that I have in my collection. It didn't do anything wrong to me, but I just don't love this one. I don't love this one for whatever reason. I don't know, but maybe I could change my mind, but it's still really pretty, but I just, it's okay for me. Then we have Dark Edit. This is really gorgeous, guys. So if you, I don't know if they still have this one, but if you loved ColourPop Good Sport, this is such a good substitute for that because you have this kind of like burnished, I don't want to say burnt, this gold color and the purple and these stunning mattes. Like this is a really great fall palette. Really pretty. Then we have the Rosé Edit. I don't think this one is available anymore, but this one's really pretty too. This is another one that would be great for like Valentine's Day looks. It's just super cute. And you've got plenty of neutrals here, but you've got some really soft romantic colors here to incorporate into a look. And then we have Warm Edit. And I know I have been railing against warm palettes throughout these collection videos, but somehow this one works for me. It's not too much. I don't know how to explain it. I don't dislike warm tones, but some of them are just too reddish orange leaning for me to feel like it looks good on my skin tone, but somehow this one strikes a really good balance, so we like that one. So those are the Edit palettes. Next we have the Étendu palettes. I've got quite a few of these that I really enjoy, and I'm not going in any particular order, but we're going to start with the Violette Étendue, which is like one of the most amazing purple palettes. You have this top row here of just very neutral with a hint of purple shades that are really perfect for grounding the look. We've got some beautiful shimmers and some fun mattes in here. So this is a really beautiful purple palette. I did a look with this that I really liked, so I need to like revisit this one, and this is making me feel compelled to really do my purple collection palette series at some point. And then we have Cashmere, the OG Cashmere, which is a more muted palette. Still really beautiful. It's very neutral. It's cool. It's neutral, cool leaning, I would say, but very pretty, very subdued. You can get some very chic looks out of this one. Then we have two of the newer palettes here. I'm going to start with Violette Vespertine, which is really beautiful. Again, it's like a little bit more muted, a little soft if you're looking to do something very sophisticated, but you've got these really pretty chic soft shimmers. And then we have Cashmere Charmeuse, which this one kind of surprised me. Like this duochrome in here, that's really pretty. And I know I keep saying, oh, I'm gonna stop swatching, but we have some really pretty, like these shades are really pretty. Like how I'm even looking at them versus how they're showing up on camera, you can see the shift. So I really like the duochrome formula in this. It's delicate enough where it doesn't you know, overpower your eye look, but it's still really impactful. So this is really pretty. This one kind of surprised me in like a really good way. Then we have Le Marais, and I had the opportunity to go to this neighborhood in Paris this past summer with my kids, and it was so fun. And yeah, this is really pretty, and you've got these pops of color that kind of evoke the fun and artistry of that particular neighborhood in Paris. And yeah, we've got some pretty shimmers, and I need to use this matte pink because I think that that'll look really pretty. And the thing I like about Viseart mattes is that they blend really well, so that looks really intense in the pan, but it's going to blend out really beautifully on the eye. Then we have Minxet Étendue, which again is like another warmer palette, but not obnoxious. It's not obnoxiously warm. It's really stunning, and you've got some true neutral shades here to incorporate into looks, but this is another really stunning palette that I need to use more. Then we have Coyish Étendue. Now this one, I do remember Viseart did send this one my way. It's so beautiful, and I know that for some people who are duochrome connoisseurs, like this is not gonna be like of the intensity of like a Terra Moons or a Cleona or a Glaminatrix. Like this is duochromes for people who just want subtlety, and that does exist. Everybody does not want to have super intense eye looks. We all have different preferences, so this is a little bit more sheer and subtle. And I actually like that a lot, because I think that depending on what you're going for, like just to have that more subdued look there's actually some beauty in that. So I really like that this is an option in this format, because I have it in the Slim Pro format, and you guys will see that in a minute. Then we have Paris Love Letter. This one went away, and I feel like it came back. This one's very soft. This is another one, I like it, but I don't necessarily love it. What I do like about this one is this green shade right here. That's probably my favorite color, and this kind of like kind of silvery lilac shade. But other than that, this palette was just, you know, it's fine. It's still pretty, but I think this is probably more suited to somebody with a lighter skin tone than me. But it's still pretty, but it's just not my personal favorite. Then we have Bijouzette, which is a favorite, because we have some deeper shades in here that I really like. This is a beautiful jewel tone palette. So you've got gorgeous jewel tones in here, and you just, I see I can't help myself. I gotta touch the blue. Like, look at that. That's really pretty. And yeah, you have so many neutral shades, not only in this palette, but in other parts of the collection that are really, really stunning. So yeah, I like it. One of my favorites. And then we have Soleil La Plage. Beautiful summery palette. This shade here, see, I keep touching my Viseart shades. I can't help it. So pretty, guys. It's just a delicate shimmer, but it's still impactful. So it's really beautiful. This one went away for a while. I feel like I saw it pop back up on the website, so I don't know if they had some new stock, but I have actually taken this to France with me and gotten some pretty looks with it. Okay, moving on. We now have these Slim Pro palettes. I have my Dark Mattes palette, which is fantabulous for like smoky looks, like fall smoky looks. Really, really pretty. And you can use it as a standalone palette if you really wanted to, but I like to use this as like an assistant palette. Then we have the OG Koi palette, and I'm gonna show you the new one next to this so you can see. I do have some shades moved around, so please don't judge that. But yeah, you have mostly, actually, you know what? I'm just realizing these are not exactly the same. They're similar, but yeah, there's definitely some different shades. Definitely different shades. So not to say you need both, but if you didn't get this one, you still will get something similar out of this one, but it's a little bit different than the original. But they're both really, really pretty. I personally really enjoy the Koi shadow formula. And then we have Matte's Milieu, which is a little mixture of mattes. You've got a lot of warmth here, but like I said, it's not like in an obnoxious way. And I don't know if I'm using the right term or not, but some shades can be like really warm to the point where, in my case, it just makes you look like you have an illness of some sort. But these don't do that for me. But yeah, really nice. And then we're gonna get to the big babies. So I have these Grand Pro palettes. I have the original and I have Grand Pro 3. So we have the OG, like if you are a makeup artist, this is such a great palette to have. It has all of the mattes that you could need. You've got like literally from pure white to pure black and almost every shade of neutral tones in between. It's a fabulous palette. I don't think that this is available anymore. And what I like about this one is you can pop these shades out and do mix and match. And the only thing is that with some of the smaller palettes, like some of the Edit and Petite Pro palettes, like because the pans are smaller, it might be kind of weird. But as long as you have some kind of magnetic palette, you can mix and match these shades. You can pop these out. And that's the case for all of them. It's really an artist brand because you can pop out all of the shades out of all of the palettes and do different combinations, which I've done. And then we have Grand Pro 3, which is a gorgeous, I would say almost rainbow palette because you don't have the purples. However, you don't really need that because there are so many purples in the Viseart lineup that you're not really missing out. So you can pull in the purple from Violette Étendue and you're good to go. Like that's the only thing that's missing, I would say, in terms of making this like a complete rainbow palette is like a purple shade like what's in Violette Étendue. But overall, it's such a fabulous brand, and I am so thankful to my friends at Viseart for the palettes that they've been kind enough to gift to me. And as a customer, I've been really glad to purchase some of these palettes myself, and I've been happy with pretty much everything. Like I said, with the exception of the two palettes that I mentioned earlier, like for me, this is just such a fantabulous brand, and yeah, I love it. I'm going to grab a couple of stragglers, a couple of strays that did not make it into the first video, guys, that I just, after I filmed that behemoth video, didn't realize that I actually left a couple of things out. So I do apologize for that. And I hope you are still willing to stick around while I'm like kind of tidying up here. I'm going to grab them. They're right behind me. It's like very quickly, I have these like LYS palettes that were like QVC specials. This one is called Love Your Unapologetic. I'm sorry. This one's called Unapologetic. This is, you know, like a really fun, you know, neutral with pops of color type of palette. And then we have the one, this is Empowered, which has not been touched yet, but I'm not letting these leave my collection just because I do really like the brand. I do receive some PR from LYS Beauty, but this was not PR. These were purchased directly from the QVC website. They had some kind of special collab, but they're really cute. They are not the strongest formula I've tried, but I think for a first time offering for a brand that does mostly complexion products, these are pretty nice, and they come in the cute triangle packaging. And then I have this Guerlain palette, which is again on my list of palettes that I want to use in 2024. I got this during the holiday, and I really like these shades. I like this kind of soft, like it's bright, but it's still soft, if that makes sense. It's yellow because it's gold, and then we have the green and then the deep purple shade, and so I'm excited to use this. This is the Glittery Tiger palette that I forgot, oh my gosh, let me get it together, that I forgot to include in my last video. And then last but not least for this video, guys, we have these YSL Clutch palettes that are absolutely amazing. This is the, which one is this? Is it gonna tell me? This is number 100, which is Stora Dolls, and I think this was the one that just kept selling out. And of course I tried to get it during the Sephora sale, had a little bit of drama there, and then of course by the time the sale's over, it like mysteriously was like back in stock. I don't know how that works, but anyway, really beautiful cool tone palette, easy, effortless. Then we have number, let's see, actually let's go in order. We got 200, which is kind of rosy. Okay, this is kind of along the lines of like the Patrick Ta Major Dimension 2 palette, because we've got like kind of like the rosy kind of tone here, and there is an actual like rose palette. I'm kind of trying to remember what the name of it is, but yeah, this is really pretty as well. I have not worn this one yet, but I'm intending to. And then last but not least, we have Casbah Spice. This is number 300, a slight bit warmer, but like not obnoxiously so. Like it's not like too orange, like it's just like a kind of like almost like a little more bronzy warm tone. So really pretty. So yeah, you guys, that is it for part 2 of my eyeshadow palette collection. I think that I did not miss anything. I'm only letting go of a couple of palettes in this part of the declutter. So just to kind of like quickly jog your memory, I didn't do a good job letting go in this round, but we're gonna let the damaged Pat McGrath palette go that I've been holding on to. And actually it's not even in that bad a shape. I'm gonna see if there's someone that would like this one. I felt kind of bad offering this to friends and family because I didn't want to insult anyone and make them think like, oh, like here's this damaged Pat McGrath palette. Like I didn't think that would be nice. So I might just kind of shopping around and see, because the shades are still really pretty, but if no one wants it, I can let this go and still feel at peace, because like it's a little messed up, but someone might like it just to like play around with the shades. And then we're definitely letting go of Golden Opulence. I feel like this was like a Lunar New Year release or something because of the red and the gold packaging. But yeah, we can let this go. Like this is just not where it's at. And I could try to depot the shades, but I think you guys can see like I have like these colors multiple times over in my Pat McGrath collection. So I feel confident that I can let that go. Plus I've had it for a long time. And then we have the, what's this one? I keep forgetting. Rose Decadence. Again, I have the Divine Rose motherships. I've got this, the Bridgerton palettes with, kind of this similar shade here. So I can let this one go. I think someone would actually still like this one. It's still really pretty. It's in pretty good condition, but I'm not using it. And then finally, we're going to let go of Natasha. We're going to let go of this one. Of all the Natashas I have, this is the one that I'm going to let go. I'm going to keep the rest of them. We'll see if the collection survives the next declutter. But yeah, I'm just kind of sad about this because I was really hopeful that I would really like this format and be able to travel with it, but it just did not work out for me. Okay guys, so thank you so much for hanging out with me for part 2 of my collection declutter. As you can see, this was kind of like more on like the luxury end. There are quite a few luxury brands that I actually have not tried and don't have in my collection. Like I don't have like any Dior palettes. I don't have any Tom Ford, Marc Jacobs, anything like that. Chanel quads or quints. I have not been compelled to those particular brands for whatever reason, one reason or another. Natasha Denona and Pat McGrath have been kind of priority brands for me. And then, even with these YSL clutches, I will say I did get these in PR. And I don't know that I would have purchased these by myself had I not received them in PR. But now that I have tried them, it's kind of opening up my mind a little bit to trying some more of the luxury brands and seeing what they have to offer. If there's something that's like really appealing to me. I think for me, the thing has been, for the price point, what are you really getting? What kind of looks are you able to achieve? So, I'm going to stay open to that, but I am pretty happy with the collection that I have right now. I think that I'm really excited to like pull out more of my motherships. I held these in such high reverence for a while that I didn't really wear them right away when I got them, but that has been changing. When I have the opportunity to wear these, I do. I usually love how the looks come out, and I get a lot of compliments because the formulas are just really fantastic. But I think regardless of whether you like high-end or the more mainstream, affordable brands of makeup, you make it work the way that you want it to. If you prefer affordable makeup because that's what works for you, or if you prefer high-end makeup because that's what works for you, I think at the end of the day, it's all about what's your personal preference. So I like to try a variety of things, and this exercise was really good for me to just figure out what I have in my collection, what I would like to use more of. In this case, in a very light sense, what I'm letting go of, but it was really fun. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Please make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Make sure to leave me a comment, and I would love it so much if you would subscribe to my channel and join my community. Like, it would just be awesome to have you like hang out and chat makeup with me, and definitely let me know what you thought about my collection and what you might have in your collection as well. I'd love to hear from you guys. And as always, thank you so much for taking a bit of time out of your day to hang out with me and chat about makeup. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.